Chapter 5. The snow had ceased, but it caked the ground deeply now, and the sleek ground car advanced through the deserted streets with lumbering effort. The murky gray light of incipient dawn was cold not only in the poetical sense, but also in a very literal way. And even in the then turbulent state of the Foundation's politics, no one, whether actionist or pro-Hardin, found his spirits sufficiently ardent to begin street activity that early. Johann Lee did not like that, and his grumblings grew audible. "It's going to look bad, Hardin. They're going to say you sneaked away." "Let them say it if they wish. I've got to get to Anacreon, and I want to do it without trouble. Now that's enough, Lee." Hardin leaned back into the cushioned seat and shivered slightly. It wasn't cold inside the well-heated car, but there was something frigid about a snow-covered world, even through glass, that annoyed him. He said reflectively, "Someday when we get around to it, we ought to weather-condition Terminus. It could be done." "I," replied Lee, "would like to see a few other things done first. For instance, what about weather-conditioning Cermak? A nice dry cell fitted for 25 centigrade all year round would be just right." "And then I'd really need bodyguards," said Hardin. "And not just those two." He indicated two of Lee's bully boys sitting up front with the driver, hard eyes on the empty streets, ready hands at their atom blasts. "You evidently want to stir up civil war." "I do. There are other sticks in the fire, and it won't require much stirring, I can tell you." He counted off on blunt fingers. 1. Cermak raised hell yesterday in the city council and called for an impeachment. "He had a perfect right to do so," responded Hardin. "Besides which, his motion was defeated 206 to 184. "Certainly, a majority of 22, and you counted on a 60 as a minimum. Don't deny it. You know you did." "It was close," admitted Hardin. "All right. And 2, after the vote, 59 members of the Actionist Party reared upon their hind legs and stamped out of the council chambers." Hardin was silent, and Lee continued. "And 3, before leaving, Cermak howled that you were a traitor and were going to Anacreon to collect your 30 pieces of silver, and that the chamber majority, in refusing to vote impeachment, had participated in the treason, and that the name of their party was not Actionist for nothing. What does that sound like?" "Trouble, I suppose." "And now you're chasing off at daybreak like a criminal. You ought to face them, Hardin, and if you have to, declare martial law by space." "Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. Nuts." "All right, we'll see. Now listen to me carefully, Lee. 30 years ago, the time vault opened, and on the 50th anniversary of the beginning of the Foundation, there appeared a Harry Seldon recording to give us our first idea of what was really going on." "I remember." Lee nodded reminiscently with a half smile. "It was the day we took over the government." "That's right. It was the time of our first major crisis. This is our second, and 3 weeks from date will be the 80th anniversary of the beginning of the Foundation. Does that strike you as in any way significant?" "You mean he's coming again?" "Not finished. Selden never said anything about returning, you understand, but that's a piece with his whole plan. He's always done his best to keep all foreknowledge from us, nor is there any way of telling whether the radium lock is set for further openings short of dismantling the vault, and it's probably set to destroy itself if we were to try that. I've been there every anniversary since the first appearance, just on the chance. He's never shown up, but this is the first time since then that there has really been a crisis." "Then maybe he'll come." "Maybe. I don't know. However, this is the point. At today's session of the council, just after you announce that I've left for Anacreon, you will further announce officially that on March 14th next, there will be another Harry Seldon recording containing a message of the utmost importance regarding the recent successfully concluded crisis. That's very important, Lee. Don't add anything more, no matter how many questions are asked." Lee stared. "Will they believe it?" "That doesn't matter. It'll confuse them, which is all I want. Besides wondering whether it's true and what I meant by it if it isn't, they'll decide to postpone action until after March 14th. I'll be back considerably before then. Lee looked uncertain. But that's successfully concluded. That's bull. Highly confusing bull. Here's the airport. The waiting spaceship bulked somberly in the dimness. Hardin stamped through the snow toward it, and at the open airlock, turned about with outstretched hand. Goodbye, Lee. I hate to leave you in the frying pan like this, but there's not another I can trust. Now please, keep out of the fire. Don't worry. The frying pan is hot enough. I'll follow orders. He stepped back, and the airlock closed. And that brings this chapter of our book to a close. I'll try to get another recorded just as soon as possible. Thank you for listening.